There comes a moment in every life, a quiet, almost invisible moment when everything inside you whisper that maybe this is it, maybe this is as far as you go. The noise of the world fades. The applause you once imagined grows distant, and all you are left with is a heavy silence filled with questions you don't want to answer. You look around and see others moving forward, building, rising, winning, and then you look at yourself, standing still, carrying dreams that feel heavier with every passing day. And in that moment, the truth begins to press against your chest like a weight you can't ignore, because deep down you know that the distance between where you are and where you want to be is not luck. It is not talent. It is not fate. It is sacrifice. And sacrifice is uncomfortable. Sacrifice is lonely. Sacrifice demands something from you that most people are not willing to give. You see, everybody wants the celebration. Everybody wants the spotlight, the recognition, the moment where the world finally turns and says, you made it. But very few people are willing to endure the long nights when no one is watching, the early mornings when your body begs you to stay in bed, the endless repetition of effort when results are nowhere to be seen. That's the part they don't show. That's the part that breaks most people, because it's easy to dream when everything feels possible, but it's hard to keep dreaming when reality starts testing you. It's hard when you try and fail. It's hard when you give your best and it still isn't enough. It's hard when people doubt you, question you, or worse, ignore you completely. And in those moments, the temptation to quit doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you to be realistic. It tells you to settle. It tells you that maybe you weren't meant for greatness. And if you listen closely, you might even start to believe it. But what if I told you that the struggle you are in right now is not a sign that you are failing? It is proof that you are in the process of becoming. What if I told you that every ounce of pain, every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt is shaping you into someone stronger, sharper, and more resilient than you have ever been before? Because the truth is, nobody arrives at greatness without walking through the fire first. Think about Thomas Edison, a man who failed not once, not twice, but thousands of times before he created the light bulb. Imagine the weight of that journey, the frustration, the doubt, the voices telling him to stop, but he didn't see failure the way most people do. He saw it as part of the process. He understood something that most people never will, that success is not built on comfort. It is built on persistence. Or consider Abraham Lincoln, a man who faced defeat after defeat, losing elections, enduring personal loss, battling depression, yet refusing to give up on his vision. At any point, he could have walked away and lived an ordinary life. But he didn't. He chose to sacrifice comfort for purpose, ease for impact. And in doing so, he changed the course of history. And then there's Walt Disney, who was once told he lacked creativity, who faced bankruptcy and rejection before building one of the most iconic empires the world has ever seen. Imagine if he had listened to those voices. Imagine if he had decided that the struggle was too much, that the sacrifice wasn't worth it. But he didn't stop, because somewhere deep inside, he understood that the pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the regret of giving up lasts forever. This is the part most people don't understand. Sacrifice is not about losing something. It's about choosing something greater. It's about trading short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. It's about saying no to distractions, no to excuses, no to the easy path, so you can say yes to the life you truly want. And that's not easy, because while you are working, others are relaxing. While you are building, others are sleeping. While you are pushing forward, others are settling, and it will feel unfair at times. It will feel like you are giving so much and getting so little in return. But what you don't see, what you can't measure in the moment, is the foundation you are laying beneath your feet. Every sacrifice, every disciplined choice, every moment you choose growth over comfort, it is adding up. It is building something inside you that cannot be taken away. Because success is not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. And the person you are becoming right now, in the middle of this struggle, in the heart of this sacrifice, that person is powerful. That person is unstoppable. But only if you keep going. And that choice, that simple yet incredibly difficult choice to keep going when everything inside you is telling you to stop, is what separates those who dream from those who become. Because at some point, you have to stop negotiating with your comfort. You have to stop asking for permission from fear. You have to look at your situation no matter how heavy it feels and say to yourself with absolute conviction that this is not where my story ends. And that realization doesn't come from motivation alone. It comes from responsibility, the kind of responsibility that forces you to own your future completely. There is a dangerous illusion that holds so many people back, and it's the belief that one day, somehow, things will just fall into place. That clarity will come without confusion. That success will arrive without sacrifice. That opportunity will knock without preparation. But life doesn't work like that. Life responds to action. Life rewards those who are willing to give more than they take, those who are willing to endure more than they complain, those who are willing to keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible. In invisible progress, that is one of the hardest things to trust, because when you are putting in the work day after day, when you're sacrificing your time, your energy, your comfort, and you don't see immediate results, your mind starts playing tricks on you. It starts asking questions like, is this even worth it? Or what if nothing changes? And those questions can be dangerous if you let them control you. But what you have to understand is that growth is not always visible. Sometimes the most important changes are happening beneath the surface where no one can see them, not even you. Just like a seed buried in the soil, it doesn't break through the ground overnight. It takes time, it takes pressure, it takes darkness before it ever sees the light. And if that seed could think, it might believe that nothing is happening, but in reality, everything is happening. That's you right now. You are in the process. You are growing in ways you don't even realize yet. And one day, when the time is right, all that hidden work will rise to the surface and people will look at you and call it success, but you will know the truth. You will know that it was built in silence, in sacrifice, in moments when quitting felt easier, but you chose to continue anyway. This is where discipline becomes your greatest weapon, because motivation fades. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes depending on how you feel. But discipline is a decision. It is a commitment you make to yourself, regardless of your mood, regardless of your circumstances. It is waking up and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It is staying consistent even when results are slow. It is choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure again and again. And that repetition, that daily commitment, that relentless focus, it builds something powerful inside you. It builds belief. Not the kind of belief that comes from hearing motivational words, but the kind of belief that comes from evidence. The kind of belief that says, I've done this before, I can do it again. The kind of belief that turns doubt into determination and fear into fuel. But let's be honest for a moment. This journey is not glamorous. There will be days when you feel completely alone. There will be moments when people don't understand your vision. There will be times when those closest to you question your choices, when they tell you to slow down, to be realistic, to stop chasing something that seems uncertain. And that hurts because you expect support, you hope for encouragement. You want someone to believe in you, but sometimes that belief has to come from within. Sometimes you have to be your own support system. You have to be the one who reminds yourself why you started, the one who pushes yourself when you feel weak, the one who refuses to let your circumstances define your future. And that kind of strength, it doesn't come easy. It is forged through struggle. It is built through sacrifice. It is earned through persistence. Think about Henry Ford, a man who faced repeated business failures before revolutionizing the automobile industry. At one point, he was broke, dismissed, and considered a failure by many. But he didn't stop. He didn't allow temporary setbacks to define his permanent identity. He understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. And that is a lesson you must carry with you, because if you are afraid to fail, you will never push yourself far enough to succeed. If you are afraid to sacrifice, you will never experience the reward. If you are afraid to be uncomfortable, you will remain exactly where you are. Growth demands discomfort. Success requires sacrifice. And greatness is reserved for those who are willing to endure both. So the question is not whether the journey is hard. The question is whether you are willing to become the person it requires you to be. Because the life you want is not going to come to you. You have to go to it. You have to chase it with everything you have, with every ounce of energy, every bit of focus, every moment of effort. You have to make a decision that no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult it gets, you are not going to stop. And that decision, it changes everything. Because once you truly commit, once you remove the option of quitting, once you accept that sacrifice is not temporary but necessary, you begin to operate at a different level. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start creating it. You start becoming it. You start living it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, things begin to shift. Your mindset becomes stronger. Your habits become sharper. Your vision becomes clearer. And the same person who once doubted themselves begins to move with confidence, with purpose, with an unshakable belief that no matter what happens, they will find a way. Because that's what sacrifice does. It transforms you. It takes away your comfort, but it gives you strength. It takes away your excuses, but it gives you discipline. It takes away your fear, but it gives you courage. And in the end, it gives you something far more valuable than success. It gives you pride. The kind of pride that comes from knowing that you didn't take the easy path, that you didn't give up when things got hard, that you earned everything. Let's step up your journey. And when that moment finally comes, when all the sacrifices, all the struggles, all the sleepless nights and early mornings come together, the celebration will feel different. It won't just be about what you achieved. It will be about everything you overcame, and that feeling, that deep, overwhelming sense of accomplishment is something no one can ever take away from you. So keep going, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it feels like nothing is changing, because something is changing. You are changing, and that is where everything begins. And that is where everything begins, in that quiet transformation that no one applauds, in that invisible shift that turns an ordinary mindset into something unbreakable. Because once you change internally, once you start seeing yourself, not as someone who is struggling, but as someone who is evolving, the entire game changes. The same obstacles that once felt like walls begin to look like stepping stones. The same challenges that once made you question yourself begin to strengthen your resolve. And suddenly, you are no longer running away from difficulty. You are running toward growth. But understand this clearly. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is a daily battle. It is waking up every single day and choosing who you are going to be, regardless of how you feel. It is deciding that your future is more important than your comfort, that your purpose is stronger than your fear, that your vision is bigger than your excuses. And that decision has to be made again and again, especially on the days when everything feels heavy. Because there'll be days when your energy is low, when your mind is clouded, when doubt creeps back in and tries to reclaim its space. There will be moments when you question your path, when you wonder if all the sacrifice is truly worth it. And those moments, the difference between those who rise and those who fall is not talent, it is persistence. It is the ability to continue despite uncertainty. It is the courage to move forward without guarantees. It is the strength to keep believing when there is no evidence yet. Think about Oprah Winfrey, a woman who was once told she was unfit for television, who faced rejection, hardship, and adversity at every stage of her early life. She could have accepted those limitations. He could have allowed those labels to define her, but instead, she chose to rise above them. She chose to see beyond her current reality and build something greater, something meaningful, something lasting. Or think about Michael Jordan, who was once cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine that moment, the disappointment, the embarrassment, the feeling of not being good enough. For many people, that would have been the end of the dream. But for him, it was just the beginning. He used that failure as fuel, as motivation to work harder, to push further, to become better than he was the day before. And that is the mindset you must adopt. You cannot allow your current circumstances to dictate your future. You cannot allow temporary setbacks to become permanent conclusions. You cannot allow fear to hold you hostage in a life you were never meant to live. Because deep down, you already know there is more for you. You feel it, you sense it, There is a version of you that is stronger, more disciplined, more focused, more relentless, a version of you that does not quit, that does not settle, that does not make excuses. And that version of you is not a fantasy, it is a possibility. But it comes at a cost. It requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of habits that no longer serve you, letting go of distractions that steal your time, letting go of comfort that keeps you stagnant. Now, it requires you to step into discomfort willingly, to embrace the grind, to fall in love with the process, even when it's hard. And that is where most people hesitate, because the process is not exciting. It is repetitive, it is demanding, it is exhausting at times. But within that repetition lies mastery. Within that demand lies growth. Within that exhaustion lies strength. And every single time you choose to continue, every single time you push past your limits, every single time you sacrifice what is easy for what is necessary, you are building something that cannot be faked, something that cannot be given, something that must be earned. You are building resilience. You are building character. You are building a foundation so strong that when success finally arrives, it will not shake you. It will amplify you. And that is the difference between those who rise quickly and fall just as fast and those who ride steadily and remain unshaken. Because when your success is built on sacrifice, it is rooted in something deeper than luck. It is rooted in discipline, in consistency, in an unbreakable mindset. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for everything to align. Stop waiting for someone to come and validate your dreams. Because the truth is, the perfect moment does not exist. There will always be challenges. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be reasons to quit. But there will also always be a reason to keep going. And that reason, it is your vision. It is that picture in your mind of the life you want to live, the person you want to become, the impact you want to make. It is that inner voice that refuses to stay silent, that keep pushing you forward even when you feel like stopping. Hold on to that vision. Protect it, nurture it, because your vision is your compass. It is what guides you through the deep, darkest moments. What keeps you focused when distractions arrive? What reminds you why the sacrifice is necessary? And as long as you stay connected to that vision, as long as you continue to take action, as long as you continue to take action, as long as you refuse to quit, progress is inevitable. It may be slow, it may be difficult, it may test you in ways you never expected, but it will happen. And when it does, when everything you have worked for begins to take shape, when the results start to reflect the effort you have invested, you will realize that every sacrifice was worth it. Every late night, every early morning, every moment of doubt, every step of the journey, it all mattered. It all contributed to the person you have become. And that realization, it changes you. It gives you a level of confidence that cannot be broken, a level of belief that cannot be shaken, a level of determination that cannot be stopped. Because now you don't just hope for success. You expect it, not because it was given to you, but because you earned it, because you paid the price, because you made the sacrifices, because you refused to give up when it would have been easier to walk away. And that is what makes the difference. That is what separates those who talk about dreams from those who live them. That is what turns potential into reality. So keep sacrificing, keep pushing, keep growing, because the life you are building, the future you are creating, it is closer than you think. And the person you are becoming is capable of more than you can imagine. And now, as you stand on the edge of your own potential, you begin to see the truth that most people never understand. Life does not reward those who are passive, who wait for opportunity to arrive, who hope that circumstances will bend in their favor. Life rewards those who act, those who fight, those who are willing to give everything before asking for anything in return. And that is where sacrifice becomes sacred, not because it is painful, but because it is powerful. You will find that when you commit to this path, doors will not open immediately. The world will not hand you validation. People may laugh at your persistence, question your decisions, or even try to convince you that you are wasting your time. And at first, that may sting. It may make you doubt yourself. But here's the secret. Every rejection, every dismissal, every no is a stepping stone. Every obstacle is not a blockade. It is a test. a measure of your determination, a checkpoint along the road that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Think of J.K. Rowling, who wrote her first Harry Potter manuscript in cafes while battling poverty, heartbreak, and repeated rejection letters. Every door that closed could have been the end of her dream, but she persisted. Every moment of despair became fuel, and eventually, those sacrifices, those nights of struggle, those moments of doubt were transformed into a story that changed the world. Or look at Nelson Mandela, who endured decades of imprisonment, who faced unimaginable suffering, who witnessed injustice that could have broken any human spirit. And yet he chose persistence over bitterness, vision over resignation, sacrifice over comfort. In the depth of his struggle, he was laying the foundation for a freedom that would outlast him, a legacy that would echo across generations. And you were being forged in a similar way. It's not because your circumstances are unique, but because your potential is. The same way steel becomes unbreakable under heat, your character becomes unshakable under pressure. Every sacrifice you make is tempering you, preparing you for a life that matches the vision you hold in your heart. But you must understand, the real magic happens when sacrifice me. It's consistency. It is not a one-time effort, a single act of bravery, a fleeting moment of intensity. Real change, real greatness is the product of relentless commitment. It is waking up when others sleep, working when others rest, doing the things that are unseen because you know that what is unseen today will become undeniable tomorrow. Discipline is the quiet, unseen force that transforms your life. It is the bridge between your current self and your future self. And the most powerful thing about discipline is that it is always within your control. Motivation can vanish, inspiration can flicker, but discipline is yours every single day in every choice you make. It is showing up when it is inconvenient. It is giving your all when the world does not notice. It is doing the work when nobody is cheering, because one day the results will speak louder than anyone ever could. Now imagine the culmination of all your efforts. The moment when your sacrifices are no longer invisible. The moment when all the early mornings, all the late nights, all the lonely walks, all the silent struggles converge into something undeniable. That is the celebration. That is the reward. And it will be unlike anything you have ever experienced, because it will not just be a measure of success. It will be proof that you are capable, that you endured, that you believed in yourself when the world questions you. And when you reach that moment, it will not be a surprise. It will be inevitable, because you chose the path that most people avoided. You embraced the struggle that most people ran from. You endured what most people quit in the face of. And now, as the fruits of your labor begin to show, you will realize that the sacrifice was never a punishment. It was the preparation, the shaping, the refining of everything that makes you unstoppable. So take a deep breath and let this sink in. The life you desire, the success you crave, the dreams that sometimes feel so far away, they are not waiting for luck. They are waiting for you to commit, waiting for you to endure, waiting for you to sacrifice today so that tomorrow you can celebrate without limits. This is the difference between those who hope and those who achieve, those who talk and those who act, those who dream and those who become. And it all begins with a single choice, the choice to refuse comfort when comfort threatens to dilute your destiny, the choice to embrace discomfort because it is the pathway to greatness, the choice to persist when quitting feels like the easiest option. And so, as you move forward from this moment, remember this: every sacrifice you make today is the currency of your tomorrow. Every drop of effort, every ounce of discipline, every act of courage is an investment in a future where you are not merely surviving, not merely existing, but thriving, leading, and inspiring. And when that future arrives, it will arrive with a clarity, a power, and a beauty that no words can capture, because it will be yours, earned through fire, shaped by struggle, and delivered by the unwavering choice to never quit. So rise, push, endure, sacrifice, and know that the celebration you long for is not just coming, it is inevitable, because you have chosen to pay the price, to fight the fight, to walk the path that few dare to tread. And in that choice, you become unstoppable. In that choice, you become legendary. In that choice, you finally understand that the moment of struggle was never the end. It was the beginning of everything you were meant to become. Because this life, your life will not reward hesitation. It will not wait for comfort. It will not forgive fear. It will, however, honor courage, endurance, sacrifice, and unwavering belief. And when you look back one day, you will see T had every tear, every setback, every moment of doubt, every lonely night was not wasted. It was laying the foundation for a victory so great that nothing and no one can ever take it from you. So go, sacrifice now, build now, endure now. And when the world finally watches, when the results are undeniable, when your dreams are no longer dreams but reality, you will celebrate not just with joy, but with the deep, unshakable knowledge that you earned it, you fought for it, and you became everything you were meant to be. And that right there is the true power of sacrifice.